Hi, I'm Malachi Trout, and this is Fitzroy, and we're going to be doing our first Dynamite Presents podcast interview with the amazing Fitzroy Da Buzzboy.
Fitzroy. Thank you.
I always want to ask, where did you get Fitzroy Da Buzzboy from?
In 1986, I became part of a DJ crew which was called Buzzboys Inc.
Ah, right.
And that consisted of Tony Francis, Wayne Malcolm, Joel Karamath, Paul Martin, who went on to work with Giles Peterson and Black Market Records, myself, and there was another guy called Norman Cummins, but he was only there for like a couple of months because he was a dancer and he got a dance contract. So I was part of the Buzzboys Inc. crew, and then I found out that there was another Fitzroy DJing. I was told there was another Fitzroy DJing, so I thought, well, if there's two of us, we've got to separate ourselves.
Of course.
Originally, my tag was Fitzroy from the Buzzboys.
Oh, right, okay.
That's what it was.
Okay.
This was about 1986, 87. And then I discovered that the other Fitzroy was Fabio.
Oh, as in Groove Rider and Fabio?
Yeah.
As in drum and bass?
Yeah.
Oh, right, wow.
Yeah, his name's Fitzroy Heslop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I knew him. I actually knew him, but I didn't know his name was Fitzroy because we used to see each other on the club scene.
Ah,
but I didn't realise that he was going by the name of Fabio. But, subsequently, that's why I became known as Fitz. When I left the Buzzboys in 1989, I kept Fitzroy Da Buzzboy because I was known as that. And then in about 1998, Jamie Topham, who was working at Arista, when he used to send me records, one day he put Da Buzzboy Fitzroy, and I thought, oh, I like that. I like the way you flip the script.
I like the way you script. Yeah, that's excellent.
That's basically it. So it's a name that stuck with me. I tried to stop using it because I thought, like in the past 10 years or so, I thought to myself, 10, 15 years, I thought to myself, Fitzroy Da Buzzboy, it makes me sound like a kid.
Yeah, but you're still young at heart. And it stays with you, I suppose. We were both around. I basically used to go to the same clubs that Fitzroy was DJing in.
And where was he DJing?
And I was, well, for me it would have been, was it Shake and Finger Pop you used to do? Or?
No, I didn't do Shake and Finger Pop. I did the Limelight.
Okay, Limelight.
A few times.
Go to Limelight a few times.
We had a residency at Oxford's, which used to be Studio 21's, opposite McDonald's on Oxford Street. So we had a residency there, and then we just used to do parties and everything. And then I got onto Studio FM, 92.7.
Yep.
Big
shout out.
Yeah. And my name just kind of travelled from there. And
I remember your name. It's your name, Fitzroy Da Buzzboy.
Yeah, it's
just
quite
a
distinctive.
Strong, iconic name, and it really stands up for that time. It's like, that's the name. That's the geezer. He's the one who plays all the rare groove tunes. That's it.
Yeah.
You've got to get him to your party, and that was it. I seem to remember all those days. I do remember. I got flyers. I wanted to bring my flyer box. I had loads of rave stuff, and I sold all those. But I've got all of the kind of 86, 87, a bit of going to the Mud Club and then going to Astoria and Fever. So I'm a bit around there. And then we used to go a little bit to Ladbroke Grove. We'd go to the Africa Centre. And then what's the one? Subterranea, underneath the arches and all those things.
I didn't know Malachi in the 80s.
No.
I think it was more the 90s.
Yeah.
But like you say, I know my name. Like sometimes when people say to me, they ask me my name, they say, "What's your name?" I say Fitzroy. They go, "What? The Buzzboy?"
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, "Shh, don't tell everybody," because I don't see myself like, oh, I'm going to say, like they should assume that. I can assume that they know who I am. Yeah. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
but it just seems like, Fitzroy Da Buzzboy, it just rolls off the tongue kind of thing.
It works. It completely works. And as I said, we didn't really meet, as you say, until probably the 90s, because I started working for Mastercard. I see your name on the back of one of the things, and we were just talking about, you did the one of the box sets that they did.
Yeah, the cream of rare groove, it was called.
Cream of rare groove. Did a mix. It was a 3-box, it was 3 CD box set, and on the very last mix is a mix that I did, which I think I was telling you. Yeah.
About January 1997, I was asked by Adrian Gibson, because I used to do a lot of work at the Jazz Cafe.
Yeah, me too.
Adrian used to book me from when I started working there in 1993. I was resident there for 4.5 years. and I used to do all the gigs like Roy Ayers, Gil Scott Heron, and all those kind of gigs.
Yep.
So Adrian must have been in touch with Russ, and he must have said, "Oh, look, can we get someone to do a mix?" And Adrian came to me. So I remember going into the Jazz Cafe, doing it all one take. Like some of the records I didn't even know. Just did one mix, one take, and I recorded it on a mini disc.
Yeah, on a mini disc.
On a mini
I mean,
disc.
that is absolutely brilliant. I've got to say, that's an absolute classic. I mean, who has a mini disc these days?
I've still got one, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they used to have a record button. They used to have those like outfields, and you could have a little mic with it and stuff like that. So you could go and record the Atmos stuff and all that. We both knew Des quite well. I mean, I think you knew him much more than I probably did. He helped me in my early days. So when I was working with Hubbub, you know, I met Weldon Irving through there and got more in contact with George Semper. And those were really golden things for me. But then also speaking to Des used to, because Des I used to work for Mastercut, so I got his details.
He did the Mastercuts Rare, so
he gave me information. He gave me James Mason's number and Leroy Hudson's number. I'm ringing James Mason up going, "Can I license Sweet Power?" Or and all this stuff years and years ago. I must have been only on the telephone way before we did internet, so I don't know what year that must have been.
About 93, something
93,
like that.
94, I reckon.
Yeah,
and we had a great time. Absolutely, and what a legend he was. Do you know what I mean? Absolute legend. It's funny, like we were talking as well. Wanda McDaniel's, Gangster Boy.
Yeah.
He kind of said to me that he found that tune along with probably lots of others.
Yeah.
But it's one song. If I hear it, I automatically can just see Des.
Yeah.
I can almost see him going, "Yeah, this is a lovely tune. You love this," and I'm like, "Oh, right, yeah, okay." And I'd play it with always him in mind. We did a show recently, and I mentioned it, and I always think of Des.
Yeah,
I mean? It's one of those. You do the Soul Survivor magazine.
Yeah,
and you've been doing that for
it's 20 years next month.
20 years.
Yeah. Do you want a backstory on that?
Of course, mate.
Okay. I was in a relationship with Anna Marshall.
Right.
Anna Marshall lived in Kent, and she used to frequent sort of like the southeast soul scene. So she went to clubs in Kent, Essex, did some clubs in London, but she used to go to K-Star and Berwick Manor and all those types of places, which were places that I never frequented. I didn't before the 2000s. I'd never been to a club in Essex.
Yeah, I used to go to Romford for some reason. I can't remember Romford. And
I DJ'd in those areas, because when I did Twice as Nice, and Twice as Nice used to do a club called Time and Envy and another club called Elite in Romford. I used to go record shopping in Essex, but I never actually went to none of the clubs, especially in their heyday. So that was her background, and then I was more London, and I used to travel up north and everything. Anyway, Anna had an idea, because she runs a thing called the Local Oracle, which is like, if you think of an old Yellow Pages where you've got all the different businesses listed, she did an A5 publication, like did a lot of areas in Kent where a lot of people did a networking. It was very, very successciul. It still is very successful. No. It's just like, so if you was a gardener, or if you was like a
handyman,
a mechanic or something like that, you just advertise in there. So what her idea was to do like a soul version of that, because everybody's got a trade, and she thought, well, maybe if we've got music as the connection to, you want to do business.
That were DJs and painters that were record hunters.
Yeah. So if you want to do business with someone, why not do business with someone who's sort of got the same love of music as you? Right. So that was the idea. And my part was that I knew a lot of people in the industry. I used to DJ a lot, and then I used to have a lot of guest lists. So people used to, even if I wasn't DJing, people would phone me up and say, "Oh, Fitz, I want to get into this club." So I'd be giving other events, whether I was DJing or not, loads of people on the guest list or on the paying guest list. So we kind of added that bit in. And so we started in 2006, July 2006. The first magazine came out, A5 magazine. None of us had any experience in doing any publications.
Right, okay.
Even though I'd been in the industry 20 years, I'd never written an article. I'd been interviewed, but I'd never written an article or anything like that. But we just went along, and we got friends that we knew. We had a guy called Clinton Cambridge who does salsa. He's quite big now. A lot of the soul weekenders and a lot of the soul holidays, they actually book him now. But I've known Clinton since 1980, because Clinton used to work in a clothes shop when I was at college in Uxbridge in 1980.
Oh, wow.
And so
Links.
years later, we bump into each other, and he's doing salsa, and also I didn't know he was a DJ. Anyway, he advertised in there. So we kind of started off like that, and then we got approached to do an interview with Jocelyn Brown by a guy called Paul Ruiz, who used to work for Street Sounds. And he had
the old Street Sounds.
Yeah.
Morgan
Do
Carn.
you remember there used to be a part of Street Sounds? It was called Radical. There was a label called Radical.
Yes.
I think that was connected to, because he calls himself Paul Radical Ruiz.
Oh, right, okay.
When they were in Ealing, I lived in West London, so I used to go to their studios, not their studios, their offices in Ealing, and pick up music and all of that. So we kept in touch, and he's got further in the career doing different things and whatever. So he contacted me and said, "Oh, would you like to do an interview with Jocelyn Brown, because she's got a new album?" So I was like, "Jocelyn? Yeah. Never interviewed anyone before in my life. And well, not in the music industry." And so we did an interview with Jocelyn, which was great, and we were just going to print, and it was December 2006, and James Brown died on the 25th of December.
Okay.
Massive James Brown fan, call him my spiritual godfather. I was
of course.
mortified. I was so upset, and through a conversation with my son was staying with me at the time because he lived in France. He's said something very significant to me, and I thought, you know what, I need to do something for James. So contacted Jocelyn Brown and said, "Look, you know, the male JB's passed away. Do you mind if we put your interview in the next one?" She was fine. And what was significant about the James Brown thing was when we first started the magazine, when we were looking, you put several names in the hats, and Anna put in Soul Survivors, and we thought, yeah, that's the best one. A week later, I went back to my house. I was going through some stuff, and I found a video, and it was called Soul Survivors, and it was James Brown. So
wow.
To me, that was like confirmation.
That was the confirmation.
Yeah, confirmation.
You're doing the right thing here.
Yeah. So what happened? So that was around about, say, like July 2006. And then when we did the article on James Brown, we put that Soul Survivors image on the front cover, and I just went in deep because I just said how significant he was to me, how inspirational he was as a black icon. He was conscious and all of that, you know. And I got Paul Anderson, I got Desi D, Norman J, HB from Soul to Soul, Mark Webster. I contacted all of these people literally within a couple of days, and everyone sent me their homages. So we put it in the magazine, and when it came out, like, people just went, "Oh my God, that piece on James Brown was amazing."
Yeah, right.
And they said, like, the way you wrote about him, like, and I was like, because Fitz, it was so inspiring. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can write some more, do this journalist thing, because I wasn't a journalist. Right. I mean, I'd got a grade E in English back in 1980. So subsequently, the next interview that I did was with Kenny Wellington, Breeze, and Baps from Light of the World, Beggar & Co. Because Light of the World were my above and beyond. They were like my favourite jazz funk group. The first two albums, amazing. I got to know Kenny really well, so I did an interview with them, and then we just started to get interviews with Tashawn, Gene Khan, you know, people like that. And then we started to get adverts for when the Boogie Tonight things were happening at the Indigo. Jenny Francis, she used to advertise in our magazine, and then I'd say, right, can I interview Frankie Beverly? Can I interview Kool and the Gang and all of that? So
each time the artist came over to the country, you were first in there, first doing an interview, first on the scene, and you probably started DJing on the night as well. So you probably some
of them, yeah. I mean, one interesting thing was that the SOS band. I was speaking to somebody saying, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if the SOS band came over and we were DJing on it?" And it just subsequently happened that the SOS band did come over, and I did end up DJing on it. So it was kind of,
if you ask the universe, if you build it, they will come. If you ask what you want, they will normally says, "Yeah, okay, I'll sort that out."
Yeah, at some point. Yeah. So moving along, the magazine grew. We were getting great adverts. This was kind of pre-Facebook.
Yeah.
At the time, the only social thing that was happening on the music and the industry side was MySpace.
Okay.
And then obviously MySpace died when Facebook came along.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
So we were doing great, and just getting some amazing interviews, Smokey Robinson and George Duke, and like I'm sitting there pinching myself thinking all these people have shaped my musical career, and I'm talking to them, and not only am I talking to them, I'm engaging with them like we're in conversation more than an interview.
Yes.
And because they're thinking, God, he's talking about this stuff that I don't even talk about.
Yeah, that's it.
One quick example, Nile Rodgers was told I had 20 minutes with Nile Rodgers. He was coming over to do the Indigo. And I'm like, 20 minutes with Nile Rodgers? Are you serious? What? 20 minutes. So I did all my research, done all the questions. And then I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to start from the beginning. So the way I'd formed the questions, I told Niall that I knew that he was in Sesame Street with Luther Vandross.
Okay, right,
and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think he's thinking, wow, is that where you're going?
Yeah.
So we're talking, an hour's gone by, and I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking, God, but we only got to 1977. We're just about talking Everybody Dance, right? And then he said to me, do you know what? He goes, I'm really enjoying this interview. He said, but I've got a recording session with Brian Ferry. And he said, but I tell you what, call me tomorrow, get the number of Suze, my agent, my manager, call me tomorrow and we'll finish it off. So a 20-minute interview ended up being 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
And this is what was happening with me, happened with Charlie Wilson. He was 20 minutes, that was an hour and a half. Quite a few of them. So I was, and then they're coming over and I'm getting to meet them. I'll get my pictures taken, they're signing the things and all of that. So moving along, 2015, after 9 years, Anna Marshall left. She left the magazine. Yep. So everything was down to me now, because Anna did the design of the magazine. She did the layout and advertising and the admin stuff and everything. So I had to do, the website.
Right.
So I had to learn to do all of that myself, as well as doing the interviews, transcribing it, getting the advertising in. So I was a bit of a one-stop shop.
Yep.
And fast forward to next month, it's 20 years, and I'm still thinking I can't actually believe that, because I can still remember when we were discussing it.
Yeah.
Obviously with the internet and technology, we've suffered in terms of, I just, there's obviously other publications, and people used to say, oh, you remind me of this publication, and I used to say, do you know what, I never read that magazine, I never bought it. And they're like, what? I said, no. I said, well, how do you know what you know? I said, because I was around certain people.
Yep.
I used to read the sleeve notes on the back of the records and all of that. I said, that's how I'm a bit of a bookworm in that sense. And the magazines, we've done our own awards. We've been partners and sponsors for things, and I've released 2 albums. CDs.
Albums, really?
Yeah, on Expansion Records.
That. Oh, on Expansion. Through Ralph and
through
stuff.
Ralph,
of course.
Yeah, done 2 compilations. So the magazine is
onwards and upwards, and
that's right.
It's got plenty more legs with it.
There's still a lot of people that I haven't spoken to, but there's a lot I have spoken to, and there've been some that I didn't imagine that I would ever get to speak to.
Right.
But I think some of the artists, and say, look, there's this guy in England, his name's Fitzroy, he's got this magazine, and like Gene Carn's a massive fan.
Right.
Massive fan.
I've got to say, I love the drawing. I actually thought that was a picture, like a black and white scan photo or something.
Yeah.
And then I read it closer and worked out that you'd actually drawn that.
Yeah.
So you're a great artist as well.
Yeah, that was my first sort of gift that I guess I realised that I had when I was at school. I went to college and did a display and design course. But I started drawing again about 20 years ago, and I'm more of a portrait person.
Definitely.
So I'm looking at these images and I'm like, oh, I like that. So I use different. I do painting. I do dot tone with a rotary in ink.
Right.
I do pencil, I do colour pencil, and I do colour pencil on black paper.
Yep.
So when you look at it, it kind of looks like a bit of a negative, or like it's coming out of the paper.
Yeah, like it's 3D almost. That was what I was getting with the Gene Khan image.
So I've been able to do that on occasion, do a picture and get them on the front cover, and just to give it a little, because sometimes you can't find the right picture.
Yes, I know. Trying to track down an original photo is sometimes really, really hard. Listen, Fitzroy, it's been a pleasure having you here. This is going to be the end of part 1. Stay locked on for part 2. There's another podcast coming up very shortly. Thanks, Fitzroy. Speak to you soon, my friend.